Good morning, participants. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the TTT on responsive web design using HTML5 and jQuery. So I can see few of you have logged in right now. With us, we have some 7-8 participants from different centers who have logged in. I am myself Ritu Agarwal. Okay, basically we are into the content development and we have developed this courseware. Along with me, I have your trainer, Mr. Sukesh Kumar.
Hi, good morning.
So Sukesh will be taking this training for next 6 days and he is going to be there with you. So in case you have any doubts or any kind of clarification which you want to see related to the courseware, please feel free to contact him whenever you want. Okay. His mail ID anyway, Rashid would be floating to you very soon. And in case you want, you can also connect with him over the mail. So definitely we'll go through the intro first. So the intro is the same intro which we expect you to take it as a part of the class. So even when you are conducting the class, we would like all of you to take this intro for the students. Okay. So even before I start up, I just want to inform that we have uploaded the TRM for this course on a particular FTP location. FTP path is ftp1.nit.com. So it's ftp://ftp1.nit.com. Username is EPUB, EPUB_conversion, CONVERSION, and password is $890. I hope you've noted down the details. Anyway, Rashid is mailing the details of the FTP location. You will find a folder by a name, Responsive Web Design TRM. So please, all of you, download the TRM from this particular location. In addition, your student IDs and login ID and password for nitstudent.com is also being mailed by Rashid. You can use this login ID and password to perform cycle tests, access lab guidelines, reference links. So all these components you can access through this login ID and password. Okay. Whatever extra reading material is there, Sukesh will brief you as we keep on going. Right? So the participants which I can see is Sukesh would like to connect with each one of you. So I can see there is Mr. Joyce Kumar from Kormangalam. There is Mr. Rajiv Kumar C from Balaji Nagar. Ashraf from NH3. Puneet Sehgal from Delhi CP Center. Ravi Kumar and Tuhim Chakravarti from Durgapur. And Sukesh from Hapsigura. Nikhil from Jalandhar. And then we have Apurba Chatterjee K. Garihat and Barsha Gurang, I think. See, okay, one thing which I request all of you is, please understand we are conducting a training over SAT, so it is very important that we start these sessions on time. Because it's a fixed studio booking, we can't have any extra classes over here. Okay? So all of you need to be logged in by 8:50. I want everyone, each one of you to be logged in by 8:50. Okay, so we'll start the session exactly at 9, whether you are logged in or not, and I don't want any one of you to miss in any session. Secondly, Sukesh will connect with you in between for lots of question-answer sessions, so please ensure you are available. The slots which have been allocated for the sessions are 9 to 1, we'll have the sessions, and definitely there's going to be 1 or 2 10 minutes break in between. 1:30, 3:30 every day is going to be for your practicals. So you need to perform all your machine exercise in that 1:30, 3:30 slot. We'll connect again at 3:30 for the next session. Okay. So in 3:30 slot, Sukesh will randomly ask anyone what is the solution for that particular machine room exercise which you were supposed to do in 1:30, 3:30 slot. So we can take anyone on air and ask the person to tell us, okay, what is the problem, what solution he has done, and he may be also asked to mail the solution to Sukesh. Okay, so that's one thing. So please understand this training is for you. You need to be regular. Next 6 days, I don't want that we are doing your office works in parallel, nothing like that. Please be available and ensure you attend the training nicely. We'll try to provide all the inputs wherever possible. And in case you feel you need something else besides what is covered in the content, please let Sukesh know about it beforehand. Okay. So we'll start with the course intro, which is a very small one. In this case, Sukesh will take you through the main points. And so I'll say all the best for your training. Enjoy. Okay. And so let's start with the intro. So Sukesh,
yeah.
I'll hand it over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Myself Sukesh, and I will take your session for next week. And I think Ritu already explained everything. I need everyone on time. And if you have any doubts, okay, please raise your query, and I will help to solve the problem. Okay. So I'll start with the intro session here. So this is something about your rationals. Okay. What we have to do in this course, I'm going to cover here in my objective. We have identifying of web designing techniques, understand building blocks and the architecture of the RWD, create media queries and set viewport settings, add fluidity to a website, identify the different types of JavaScript libraries, manipulate and traverse HTML DOM using jQuery, implement jQuery events and edX functionalities, and create a website using the Twitter Bootstrap, using jQuery mobiles to create a cross-platform web applications and create web workers. All these are the topics which we will cover in this training. Okay.
Sukesh, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
So I just want to understand, why are we doing this course? I mean, what is the main aim behind learning this course, responsive web design?
Yeah. We used to create a website, and at that time we create a website because at that time we create website according to just a general conception that we have a desktop machines. And as the time changed now, and people are using the websites on different devices, so the demand changed. You know, nowadays people want to use mobiles, maybe on the mobile devices, or maybe on iPads, or maybe on desktop, or maybe in the laptops. So what we need to do is, I want to use a methodology in which I will not create a website for different devices separately. Actually, what we will do is, we will try to use an approach in which I will make a web, and that single web I can use in a different devices, and my all web pages will render according to the device screen. So this is main motive of my this course. And secondly, we will teach how to create a website in a faster way. Like we will use some ID, like we have a Twitter Bootstrap. In this, I will help students to how to create a responsive web, and in a shorter period of time.
So what does the term responsive basically mean, if I talk about?
Yeah, responsive, it means, like, as I said, if I'm making a website and that website is just a fixed layout, for example, let's say I'm going to make a web and the size of my web page is, let's say, 800 pixel width. Okay, so whenever I will try to open that web on a device like a mouse, my mobile. So in that case, what will happen, because the size of my web page is fixed. So when I try to open that my mobile device, it will give me a horizontal scroll bar at the bottom. So I need to navigate that side, so that because my whole page is not properly rendered and not visible on my screen. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I will do is, I will add a fluidity in my web page. So whenever my web page will open in a maybe any device screen, so it will render according to the device screen. Yeah. So it will help me to easily use the website on any device. Yeah.
That's a very nice concept. Thank you, Sukesh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So moving forward now, what is the entry and exit profile for the students? I think students, students need to have a good knowledge of HTML and CSS. HTML5 nowadays we use, and CSS3. Okay, difference between HTML4 and 5 is nothing different. Little bit, some tags are deprecated and some new tags are introduced in HTML5. So does in CSS3. Some properties have been deprecated and some new properties are introduced in CSS3. Okay, and in the beginning, student must have a knowledge of HTML, of course, and CSS properties, and when they will exit after this course, the students are able to create a responsive websites, and these websites are easily, you can use on any device. Yeah. Then learning cycle, we have this CR, classroom session first, and then we have a cloud learning, and then again we have a CR, and then again a cloud learning, and then we have a machine room, and then we have a further another cloud computing
cloud
session.
learning session. So basically, after every classroom session, there is a cloud learning, plus we expect you to do 2 hours of lab at home.
Yeah.
Okay, so learning cycle, you have to ensure the students do their classroom. Once they are back home, they're so doing the cloud learning. This mainly cycle tests, going through, lesson on demand, going through knowledge bites, going through reference links. Okay, so these are different components which are being uploaded on the NIT technology page. In addition, they should also perform all the lab exercises. Hint system is available. So please inform your students in case they're getting stuck somewhere, they can take help of the system to solve the lab exercises. And again, you come back for the classroom. Your lab at center can be a proctored machine room, or it can be a lab at center. So in this course, we are having lab at proctored MR in every alternate week. Not every week, but every alternate week. Okay. So every alternate week, a student will have to give the proctored machine room. Cycle tests are available every week. Okay?
Yes. So, assessment cycles, we have a CR, classroom, and then lab at home. Then again we have a classroom, a lab at home, and then attempt lab at centers. And this is the assessment cycle we have for this course. When it comes to the assessment weightage, we have 25% for the theory and 25% for the practical, and then final exam is 50%. Software we required in this course, we need a Windows 8 operating system and Visual Studio 2012 for some extents. Okay, and somewhere we need this. We are using IDE, that is a Web Matrix 3.0, and Google Chrome we need as a web browser. I want to make sure that everyone must use a Google Chrome, because still HTML5 and CSS3 many properties are not supported by any browser like IE or maybe Firefox. So I recommend that people use a Google Chrome. Then we will use a JavaScript libraries. We have AngularJS and Knockout, and of course we will use jQuery here.
This is for the students.
Yeah. So this is for the students' learning guideline. Okay, so we'll start, and I wish that everyone will sincerely take this session, and if they have any queries, please ask. Okay.
Okay. They want the FTP location to be written over there.
Okay, so I think that is on my laptop. I will share.
Okay, some of you have asked that FTP location should be written. I was just showing you the FTP location. I'll just write it, tell you.
I think I have in my email ID. So here is a URL and username and a password.
Okay. So I think it's clear now. Please note it down. You can download the TRM from this folder. CGs are partial right now. Right now CGs only for 10 sessions are uploaded. 6 session CGs still pending, which will upload within a day or so. Actually.
Okay. I want to use this animation. Okay, students, before we start, I want to show one animation intro. So I think I'm going to start this.
5J query. You have learned how to develop websites. The websites you created will be running successfully on your computer. But have you ever tried to view those websites on different devices other than the computer on which you created them? How they were looking? Is there any difference in their structure? Were they looking the same as they were looking on your computer? You must have noticed some difference if you have viewed the websites on different devices. As a web developer, you need to ensure various things while developing a website. Just knowing how to develop a website is not sufficient for you. Before developing a professional-looking website, you need to consider various factors to ensure the success of the application. Properly rendering the content of a website on devices such as iPad and iPhone is one of these factors. As you know that the rapid wave of technology has accelerated the demand of mobile or portable devices such as smartphones, iPads, notebooks, and tablets. This, in turn, has increased the demand for accessing online information through these devices. To ensure that the content of the website is properly rendered on these devices, different types of web designing techniques are available that represent websites properly on various devices with different screen sizes. Some of these web designing techniques are AWD and RWD. AWD stands for Adaptive Web Design. It refers to the way of representing the same website by using separate uniform resource locators or URLs on different devices. AWD has helped organizations to meet the user's requirements by creating a series of layouts of a website based on various screen sizes of different devices. Consider the scenario of Facebook. The URL https://www.facebook.com works well when it is accessed via a PC or a laptop. However, to access the same website on a smartphone, the URL automatically changes to https://m.facebook.com/. This means that different versions of a web page are created for each device. This implies that the website is developed using the AWD technique. The problem of implementing AWD is that there are many different screen sizes and devices available in the market today, thereby making it difficult to create different layouts for each one of them. Think what will be the consequence if you have to create different layouts for a website. You don't know how many types of devices are available in the market. Will you create separate versions of a website for these devices? The answer is no, as this consumes a lot of time and effort. Then again, you will be required to maintain these different versions of a website. If you want to update anything on your website, you need to update it in all versions. Doing so much work does not sound good. Is there a solution to this problem? Yes, RWD is a solution to this problem. RWD stands for Responsive Web Design. It helps designers to create device-independent web content. Here, the web page modifies its design to match the device on which it is accessed. Thus, this technique strives to achieve an optimal user experience for all devices. With the advent of RWD, it is now possible to represent the content of a website properly on various devices with different screen sizes. This technique not only enables to easily render the content of a website on a variety of devices, but it also provides benefits to the developers. In the AWD technique, the web developers were engaged in developing different versions of a single website. Here, the RWD technique reduced the need for creating different versions of a website. Thus, it reduces the time and effort of developers. If you want to update anything, you have to update only at a single place. Now, you may wonder how to develop RWD-based websites. In this course, you will learn to create RWD-based websites using HTML5 and CSS3 media query. Adding the image rollover effect to an image and creating an image gallery, thereby making the website more attractive and enhancing the browsing experience of the user. The responsive web design using HTML5 and jQuery course will enable you to perform all such tasks to ensure that the content of a website is properly rendered, irrespective of the device and screen size on which it is accessed. Let us now start with our first session.
So, after watching this animation, if you have any questions, please you can ask your questions. Then we'll proceed for a first session. If anyone have a question, please raise. Someone is icon not able to connect. Hello.
Hello. Hi, Apurva. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Apurva, you're not audible. We can't hear you.
Hello.
Hello, Apurva. I think your voice is not audible.
Hello.
Okay, sir.
I think you are not audible, so we'll try to connect
See,
later.
animation sound may not be very clear. I think that's what you are trying to say. So, I mean, you can go through the animations. You can also download the animations from the TRM.
Yeah.
So, when you go to TRM, in data files for faculty, for every chapter, you will find a folder by the name animations. So, you can download it from there and you can also hear the animations on your own. Okay? So, we'll take you through the animations, but I would request each one of you to download it from TRM and just go through it once also. Ashwin also, you can take that also. Hi, Ashwin. Hello. Actually, you're not audible to us. We can't hear you.
Hello. Am I audible?
Okay, actually, we can't hear you right now. In case you have some query, just write it down to us. Only names for you. So that every page is checked, you can really put this for joy.
Hello. Hello. Mic is on. Mic on. Hello. Hello. Volume check करो. Volume please.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. I can hear.
Okay. Okay. So can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I can perfectly hear you.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to start this now. I will start from the beginning, and in the beginning I will give you some demos, okay, and I will start to give example from the beginning, from where we start to build websites using HTML, okay. If you have any doubts, please ask. Yeah, just look at this web page. If I look back, maybe 5-10 years back, and I'm trying to make one web, I will try to make a web, and the layout of my web page is something like this. And the approach which we use to make a web page at that time is mostly what we do is we make a web pages using HTML, simple HTML, and the layout which I use to create with the help of tables. As you can see on the screen, you can find over here, I want to make a web, and I want to design my web page layout something like this. So you can find in the beginning, I try to use a table tag, and I try to put the width of my table is 100 pixels, and then I try to use tr and maybe to make a header, and maybe to make my navigation like this, and then for my content section, and then for my footer. This is one of the oldest approach we used to make web pages in the earlier times, and the complications are too much in this case. Why? as you can see over here, first thing is I'm trying to mingle my HTML and my design part together in my HTML page. Just think that if I'm going to make a web page which is huge in size, and I need to use tags, as well as I need to give the design to my web page. So complications will come when sometimes maybe I need to make some changes, or maybe I need to add something somewhere. So for that case, because right now my web page is very small, I can easily understand, but in case if my web page is very big, it is very hard to understand and very hard to debug. Okay, so then after what we start to use is a div. Okay, and by using a div elements, what we did is we use an approach, and in that we create a blocks, and what we did is we try to separate our web page, okay, using a div. Something like you can see here, this is my simple web page. As such, here there is no design. As you all know that HTML is just used to describe the content. It's not to design the content. So what we did is we use a HTML, and we try to use div tags. As you can see on the screen now, I used to use a body, and then I use a div, and this I want to make it for my header. Okay, then I am using a div for my content section here. Okay, this is for my content section, and then I am trying to use it for my footer section. Yes, so this is just my HTML page structure. As such, there is no design. So what we did is we try to use a CSS with our HTML pages. So moving forward now, what I am trying to do is I'm trying to use HTML and a CSS. So as you know that whenever I want to use HTML and CSS, I have options to use CSS. For example, I have first option, that is internal. Sorry, I will come with inline first. So now you can see there is one small web page again, and what I did is I use HTML and I use a CSS. How I applied my CSS, you can see here. I try to use a div tag, and what I did is when I create this div tag, at the same time what I did is I applied the styles to my HTML tags, and after using the styles, my web page looks like this. Okay, so in this case again we have some drawbacks. For example, I am using this tag, div tag over here, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to apply a style over here. Yes, nothing that in my website I have maybe 15 pages or maybe 10 pages, and what I have to do is in every web page I have to use this style tag. Okay, so it meaning to say is again the work is going to increase, because in every page I need to apply the style. Okay, so moving next, what I will try to do is same thing will happen here. Every time I'll try to apply the style in my web page, the code going to increase, and at the end, if the web page become big, it's very hard for me to understand and to debug, or maybe sometimes to make some changes. The second approach which we use with CSS here is, what I will do is I will separate my HTML part and my CSS part. So what I will try to do is I will use a internal CSS with my HTML. So now you can find this over here. The same page I'm going to use over here, but the difference is what I have separated my HTML. I have separated my HTML part and my CSS part. Okay, so in this case, what is going to happen? If I want to make some changes in my HTML part, I can easily find the HTML part, and if I want to make some changes in my CSS part, okay, I will come here in my CSS part and I can make changes. Okay, but again, it has a limitation. In every page I need to add this. Okay, so moving forward, what I will do is I will use another approach, that is external. Okay, what I will try to do is I will make my web page, the same web page, and you will find over here the source of page, and this page contains only an HTML elements and the informations. Okay, what thing I will do is I will add the reference of my style sheet in my web page. Now what is going to happen? It means, for example, let's say if I have 15 web pages, so what I will do is I will make only one CSS, and then I can use the same CSS in my 15 web pages. Okay, yeah. So what we are trying to do here is just we are trying to make a web page, and we are trying to apply a CSS that we do in our earlier time. Okay, what we are going to learn in this course is how to make our web pages responsive by nature. Okay, so at right this time, when I make this CSS, I will explain in the code here. As you can see here, when I make this web page, and in my HTML part, I made one container. Display is a container. Okay, so what will happen if I will try to open this web page in a screen? For example, on this screen is clearly visible for me, it's not a problem. But if the same web page I try to open in my mobile device, then at that time what it will give me, it will give me a horizontal scroll bar, something like this. Okay, so this is something I don't want, because I want make a web page, and that web page I want that it will render properly on each and every device screen, and that device screen may be any device screen, or maybe my mobile or my laptop. So this is something which we are going to learn in our this course, how to make our web page responsive so that it will render properly in each and every device screen. Okay, so I was just explaining how we used to make websites earlier time. So in this case, I just give an example how to use a HTML and a CSS. Okay, this is something which you already learned in your previous maybe sessions. Okay, moving forward now, another thing which I want to explain about your CSS part here. Second use of the CSS. First, I explained that when I create a HTML page, I will just keep the HTML element and my information structure, everything in my HTML page, and my all design will go in a CSS part in CSS file. Now, second use of my CSS is sometimes maybe I want to make a web page, and that web page I want to use with a different styles. So the question comes, why we need like this? Because sometimes it may be design of my website. Maybe different people are using my web page. For example, let's say if I'm going to target the audience, maybe the people who are in between 20 to 40, maybe they don't like a colorful web pages, or maybe they like a professional web pages. Or sometimes if I'm going to make a web page for maybe the kids, and they like a bright pages, okay, a colorful pages. So in that case, what we do is we can create one HTML page, and we can create different styles according to the target audience. As I'm going to explain here, the same web page I'm using here, one web page, and I will use three different styles. For example, see the same web page, and I will use a different style. Okay, you can see the same. Okay, as you can see, sometimes maybe you people always use websites, and maybe you want to access a website maybe in English or maybe in Hindi. So what we do is, at that time we can just apply the styles. Okay, or sometimes maybe you want to open a web, and that web you need maybe in a bigger font. Okay, so in that case, what we do is we create one HTML page, and for one single HTML page we create more than one styles. Okay, so as you can see on the screen here, I have made only one HTML file, and for that I had made 3 different styles. Okay, moving forward, this is something which we already learned in the previous sessions. I'm coming to my next part. In HTML, first thing, see here, before we start to make any web page, I must decide the layout of my web page. Okay, and as you can see on the screen, we have a header section, and we have a navigation section that is coming in my left side, and then we have a content section that is coming in my right side, and we have a footer. Okay, so before you start to make any website, we need to decide that which layout I am going to use. Okay, so the example which I gave previously, that is the same example over here. I'm going to use one HTML page, and I'm going to use div, and I have applied the CSS styles in my body. Okay, and in my different HTML elements, as you can see on the screen. I think I will not explain the CSS part, and I think you people know that. Okay, okay, after that, in CSS there is another a concept which is media query. We use a media query over here, and in this course we are also going to use this. The same web page which I am using here, you can see the difference. What is the impact of a media query in HTML? You can see over here, I'm trying to make my web page small. Okay, and as you can see over here, when my web page, the size of my screen comes to this size, you can see the layout of the web page changed. Okay, this is something which is going to with the help of my media queries. You can find over here in my source code, I'm going to use a media query. Okay, it meaning to say is whenever the size of screen, for example, I'm saying a media screen max width is 481. It means if the size of the screen is maximum size of the screen is 481, so in that case this style will apply. Okay, and by default this style will apply to my web page. Now I'm coming to my last part, that is responsive. Okay, what means exactly responsive? Before I explain this, I just want to show this page to you. Just look at the page. Okay, and this page will render automatically according to the size of the screen. Okay, you can see over here, if I'm trying to make it small, see here, my web page is rendering according to the size of my screen. You can see this is the beauty of responsive. If I'll try to open this web page on any device screen, it will render properly on that device screen. This is something which we are going to learn, how to make our web page responsive using HTML5 and CSS3. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start with my first session. If you have any questions, you can ask. Okay. So what we are going to cover in this session? I think I need a help. I'm going to start this slide. Start this slide. If you can't see this, send me the next part is not coming.
Maybe that is a part of animation, that's why.
No, it's not animation part. This is just a slide part. Let me see. Okay, I'll try.
Then we just go back to laptop.
So this session is about identifying web design techniques. advancement in technology has changed the way users access online information. People are trying to access the site through multiple devices, and to cater these large user-based organizations adopt web designing technique that properly represent the website on various devices. As I said here, you can see nowadays different people try to use or try to access the websites from a different devices, and these devices may be a PC or laptop or maybe a smartphone or maybe a iPad. So what we have to keep in mind before I start to make a website, which one is my target audience. So nowadays, as you can see, most of the people try to access this websites in a small device screens. So what we do is we need an approach which can help me to make a web page like such that I can open that web page in any screen. Okay, so we have technologies which we use to design a web page. We have two different technologies. Okay, we have So some of the web technologies which we use are techniques. We can say we have two techniques to make a web page. We have first option, that is AWD, and second one is RWD. AWD is adaptive web design, and second one is a responsive web design, which is we are going to learn in this course. Whatever I explained until now, that is a AWD. Okay. So coming to AWD, AWD is a way of representing the same website by using a separate uniform resource locators on the different devices. For example, as you can see on the screen, we have a Facebook. I'm trying to access a Facebook maybe from my desktop or my laptop. I will say www.facebook.com. Similarly, if I'm trying to access the same Facebook site and I'm trying to use it from my mobile device, the URL changed. Okay, so URL changed, it means it's trying to access a page, maybe a Facebook page, but URL is different. Okay, so AWD create a series of layout of a website based on various screen size of different devices. Meaning to say is what, if I am trying to make a web page, and for example I want to open that web page maybe for my mobile device, so I will make a separate page for my mobile device. Similarly, if I want to open that web page in maybe desktop, so I will do what, I will make one a web page, okay, and that will open in my desktop. So it means I need to keep in mind where I'm going to open my web page. If I'm going to open my web page on maybe on my mobile, so I have to make one page for my mobile. If I'm going to open one web page on a tablet, so I have to keep in mind a tablet, and I have to create a web page for my tablet. Okay. So this is the example which I gave just now. If I open my Facebook page on my desktop, so the URL is www.facebook.com. Okay. Similarly, if we try to open the same Facebook page on mobile, so you can see the URL is changed. It means they created two different pages. One is for my desktop and one is for my mobile device. Now, what are the problems which comes in a AWD technique? The first is there are different screen sizes and devices available, and it is difficult to create a different layout for each device. See, the concept is what? If I am using the AWD technique, so what will going to happen? If I am going to make a web page for my device such as desktop. So first one page is for my desktop, second page is maybe for mobile, third is maybe for my tablet. But the problem is I don't know exactly from which device my user will try to open that page. If someone tries to open a web page maybe from a tablet, and I don't have a layout for that screen device, so it will not render properly on that device screen. So if it will not render properly on my tablet screen, so I think you can guess that I need to use my horizontal scroll bar to to access my whole web page. Okay, so if I want to switch off these things, I will go with a RWD. Look at the RWD. So RWD helps designers to create a device-independent web contents and neglect device-specific elements such as physical attributes, browser, client, rendering, and operating system. RWD uses a single URL for a website that can be accessed across different devices, and in RWD, the web page modifies its design to match the device on which it is accessed. It meaning to say is when I'm going to make a web page and that is based on RWD technique, so that web page will render according to the device screen, and the technique which I'm going to use this is I will use a HTML5, I will use a CSS, and then I will use a media query. Okay. So before differentiating between AWD and RWD techniques, let's understand the difference between the web page that are displayed on the screen of a desktop and the one that are displayed on the screen of a mobile device. So factors which will comes in mind is screen size. Okay, of course I need to check the screen size. You can see here screen size. The screen size of a tablet or a smartphone differs in a width and height compared to the screen of a regular desktop, and due to this variation in screen size, a web page that appears in a desirable manner on a desktop may not appear properly on the mobile device. So the problem is, you can see, as I said, if I'm trying to open a same page in my mobile device, maybe it will not render properly. Then website designers have to change their approach of designing the entire web page layout according to the screen size of the device on which it is rendered. Okay. So first factor is my size. Second factor, you can see ergonomics or touch capability. Now, most of the time nowadays what we do is we try to access our web pages maybe using smartphones, and when I'm trying to use a smartphone, you can see we always use a tap event. Okay. Now, if I'm trying to use my web page on my maybe for example a desktop, I don't need a tap event though, but if same thing, you can see if I'm trying to use the same page in my mobile device, I need a tab event. Okay, so I need that thing. Okay. Second thing, you can see menus. For example, if I'm using a desktop, I have a good enough space to show my menus, navigation menus. But when it comes to my mobile device, I need to toggle them so that I can utilize the screen size. Okay, so what we do is we use a toggle menus in our responsive web pages when I'm using a RWD technique. This is something I explained here now. As you can see, navigation. Okay, sometimes we need a navigation menu. We have enough space in my desktop, but we don't have enough space in our mobile device. So in that case, we need to use a toggle menus. Now you can see another factor which I have to keep in mind, that is the space. Okay, in my desktop or in my laptop, I have enough space. Okay, and I can use that space. But when it comes to my mobile device, I don't have enough space and I need to maybe remove the space. Sometimes the images we use in our web pages, for example, if I don't have enough space in my screen, okay, so how can I display that image? So in that case, what I need to do is either I have an option, I can remove the images in my small device screen, or what I need to do is I will use the images of my low quality images, because you can see if I'm using a high quality image and I'm trying to open that web page on my mobile device, it will not open, fast. So what I need to do is, when I'm going to make a web and that web I'm going to use in my mobile device, either I will try to ignore using the images, or I will try to use the low quality images so that it can open in a faster time. Okay. Another factor is advertising. You can see nowadays we create a website and the source of earning is to put some advertisements on our web pages. So if I have a option and I'm trying to use a desktop, okay, I can float my advertisement anywhere in my web page. Okay, I have enough space. But if I'm trying to use the page on my mobile device, I need to consider that, and maybe I can float the advertisement maybe in the bottom part of my screen, or maybe at the top. As you can see nowadays, we use most of the time on my mobile device. What are the difference between RWD technique and AWD technique? As you can see on the screen, first difference, it uses a separate URL to represent the same website on a different device in AWD, and in RWD technique it uses a single URL to represent the same website on a different device. Okay. Second thing, a different version of web pages are carefully constructed for a verified set of devices. As I said, if I'm going to make a web page and that the approach which I use is AWD, so I need to create a different web pages for my desktop, for my mobile, okay, for my tablet. So I need to take care of each and every one, okay. But when it comes to RWD technique, I need to create only one web page, okay, and I can easily handle that one web page, okay. Then AWD technique, it is a server side, okay, and RWD is a client side, as you can see. Then the next difference, a web page gets loaded faster because different design for different devices are available on a different domain. And for RWD, as I said, only one URL. So this is something which is RWD in lag, because you can see for RWD technique there is only one web page and all users are trying to access the same page. So it means it will increase the traffic of my network traffic, okay. And when it comes to my AWD technique, it loads faster. The reason being is because the traffic is divided into different domains. So these are the difference between AWD and the RWD. Coming to next here, considering the consideration of RWD, you can see the design the website such that it looks similar on all device and environment. When I create a web page using a RWD technique, what I try to do is most of the time I try to keep the design same so that it looks same in all the devices. As you can see, maybe on the desktop you can see, and maybe a tablet or maybe a device small like mobile, okay. Images, something which is very important in RWD is a image. Image should be optimized for all screen size and the resolution. You can see, as I said earlier, if I'm trying to open a web page in a smaller device like mobile, I need to take care of that. Either I can see that, or either I can do what? I can use a image of a less resolution so that it can open fast. So there is one other thing. Nowadays we always talk about mobile first. So mobile first means what? Whenever I'm trying to make one web page, first thing which I must make sure is I must keep that the user which is going to use this web page may be a mobile user. Okay, maybe people are going to use that web on a mobile. So you can see on the screen another thing here, that is a navigation menus. You can see, as I said over here, whenever I'm using a desktop, I have good enough space, and you can see my navigation menus coming over here. I can display my navigation menu at this place. When it comes to tablet, still I have enough space, so I can reduce the size or width of my navigation menu, and I can display my menus in my tablet. But when it comes to the smartphones, because the space is limited, so if I want to display my navigation menu, I need to use a toggle button, and by using a toggle button, what I can do is I can use this whenever I need a navigation. I will just click on that toggle button, it will open, and then I will choose the link, and then it will open the next page. So this is another thing which I need to take care. Now it comes, what are the benefits of RWD technique? Something which was which I was using in AWD. Okay, for example, let's say I said I was creating my HTML part different, and I was trying to make my CSS part different. Though I try to use a media query in my my web page, in my CSS part, but you know, the problem comes what? If I try to make my web page for, let's say, for example, I try to make it for two layouts. For example, one is for my desktop, okay, and what I did is I give the size is maybe 976 pixels bit, okay, so it will open, it will render properly on my desktop screen. Second, the layout I made for my mobile device, okay, so maybe I use the maximum bit of the screen is 481, okay, so what will happen, it will open, it will render properly on only two, you know, two containers, you can say. For example, one is for my desktop and second is for my mobile. It will not render properly in case if I try to open that on a tablet. You know, my web page will not open properly on my tablet. Reason being is the web page is not responsive by nature, that become adaptive by nature. Adaptive, when I'm saying adaptive, it means it is adaptive to the particular screen. If I'm saying desktop, it will open properly on my desktop, but it will not open properly on my tablet, because I create only two pages. One is for my desktop and one is for my mobile device. Okay, so that is something which was not good in AWD, and we try to remove that pitfall using a RWD. And what are the benefits of RWD? First is minimal maintenance. You can see over here how it comes at minimal maintenance. You can see I have created only one web page, okay, and when I create only one web page, it means I need to take care of only one web page, not two pages or three pages. I can easily handle one page. Okay, this is easily means minimal maintenance. Second is better viewing experience to the users. You can see viewing experience is similar to the different browser and devices. Now you can see, as I said, when I use RWD, then what will happen? My web page will render according to the device screen. So it means when it will render according to the device screen, my web page will clearly visible on mobile screen also and in my desktop also. Then is social sharing. User can read and share content regardless of the device, and more user friendly. You can see the same web page I'm trying to use on different devices. Then next part is easy adaptation to the new device. Now, for example, you can see, let's say we people use a mobile, and maybe the 4-inch bit of my mobile device, and maybe a company, HTC company, and they launch a new mobile that is 4.5 bit screen. Okay, now because this is responsive by nature, so I did not fix the size of my container. I did not fix the size of my page, because it will do what? It will render my web page according to the size of my screen. So earlier, for example, I was using a phone and it was 4-inch wide. Okay, now HTC launched a new phone, and I bought that new phone. Okay, and that is 4.5. So I try to open a web page on 4.5 bit screen. Okay, so it will open properly, because as such there is no fixed size over there. So this is another advantage of my RWD. Next, we have ease of tracking the website URL. As I said, we have only one web page and we are using a one URL, so we can easily track that web page. Okay, saving time and cost for development. I no need to create more than one page, only one web page. Okay, so it reduces the cost, okay, and the time to create. And search engine optimization. This is something which we must take care of. For example, if I'm going to make one web page, okay, and I'm going to make one website, let's say, for example, and the URL of my website is, for example, www.facebook.com. Okay, only one URL. So when I try to open I try to search a web page, facebook.com, it will open fast, because there is only one URL, okay, with facebook.com. If I try to open maybe, for example, if I'm using a adaptive layout and I have maybe 2 pages or 3 pages for my my website, so you can see it will try to search first page or second page or third page. So it will affect the ranking of my website also. If I have only one web page, so it will give the ranking higher, because there is only one page and it will faster, it will find the faster. Okay, now there are some limitations for RWD technique also. First, you cannot implement RWD on an existing website. This is something you must understand. As I said in the beginning of my session, for example, let's say I have made one old website, and that website is based on a table. I made one web page, and in that web page I create a layout using a table. Now think that if I want to change that into RWD, it's not easy for me to change that. Okay, what I need to do is I need to make it from the beginning. I will create a fresh page for that. Okay, means I cannot change that old web page to my new responsive web page. Okay, I need to make it new. Then is you need to overhaul, redesign and rebuild. As I said, okay, you cannot use the old page and you can make it new. You need to build a new. The development time is 20% more than standard website, as I said, because I'm going to make a web page that will open in all mobile devices or maybe desktop or laptop. So of course I need to write little bit more, so it takes time. Okay, then the web page loads slower than AWD, as I said earlier, because all users will try to access the same page, and when the number of users are trying to access the same page, it will increase the network traffic, because all people are trying to access the same page. So of course it will load slower than a AWD. So this is something about the difference between AWD and RWD I have covered. If you have any query, you can ask the questions. Okay. If you have any query, you can ask question. If you have any doubt, please raise your question. Yeah. Okay. Mm. So this is a group discussion time, and you people can just think and discuss with each other, or if you have a questions, you can please raise. Okay. Yeah. Okay. These things, as I said earlier, okay, when I'm going to make a web page that is responsive by nature, some things which I need to take care, screen size of course, okay. Second is touch capability. I need to make a web page. That web page I will use with my mobile device or not. Of course, the navigation menu, okay, or widgets. When as I said, if I'm using a desktop screen, okay, not a problem. I can show my navigation menus. But in case if I have a limitation of my screen size, I cannot display all my navigation menus. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to toggle them so that I can use my limited space. Okay, then we have a contains a blank space and white space. Okay, so whenever I am going to make a web page using RWD, I will try to remove the white space or blank space, or I will try to write a less content. Okay, then images, as I said earlier, images play a very important role in your website. If I am trying to use a web page on my desktop screen, it's fine, I can use a high resolution images, but when it comes to my mobile device, I cannot use heavy heavy images. It will affect the speed of my web page. My web page will load slow, so I will try to ignore the images in my mobile devices, or I will try to use low resolution images. Okay, these are the things. Yeah, any other question? Yeah. See, if I am going to make a web page and I know that this web page I am going to use only in my desktop screens. For example, let's say there is one website that employees of my company going to use inside the company itself. Okay, and they are not going to use on my mobile device. So what I will do, I will use the approach of AWD, because it works fast, it loads fast. Okay, so for the desktops, okay, I will or my laptops, okay, I will use my AWD technique. But when it comes to mobile first, as I said, mobile first means what? My target audience is what? If I'm going to say that if I'm going to make one shopping website, people will do shopping on my website, and if I'm going to make only for my desktop, so you know, when the customers try to open that web page on mobile device, it will not render properly. You know, and the customer will face a problem, to buy anything on the my website. So of course, what I will do is, when my target audience is what, all type of users, of course I will go with my RWD. It depends which kind of website you are going to make. Yeah. Any other question? Hello? 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 Yeah, am I audible? Yeah, please ask a question. Hello? Varsha, am I audible?
Hello?
Yeah. Do you have any query?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Any other person? Any other question? Yeah, there is. Okay. So, should I ask some questions to you now? I will check what you learned in this session. I think we'll take a break of 5-10 minutes and then we'll start next.